Goats and women have always existed together, and somehow we've tapped into that. Women have goat herds, so we've just fallen into some archetypal goat women world.
Sniff over, aren't you? What did I eat for lunch? What do you think? What did I eat?
8 years ago, Carla and Ann Marie started their own organic goat farm in central Victoria.
We were both school teachers, and slowly over time we realised we both had this secret dream to do something different, and it was farming.
Come on. You run, Carla. Come on.
Anne-Marie found a little one-liner ad in the paper, and we came out to see the property, and it was beautiful rolling granite country, native grasses on it, lovely remnant bush, and it's hard ground that's actually quite good for goats.
Carla, you know Blossom's udder, come and feel the hardness here. Have you noticed this? Or do you reckon it's because the cup stays on too long?
No, she got an infection in it.
Yeah, but it's harder than it normally is.
We milk the goats twice a day, and we get about 100 litres in winter and about 200 litres in spring. We use that milk every day and turn it into cheese. It's beautiful, rich, pure goat's milk. And we turn it into these exquisite little goat's cheeses.
It's so nice in here and cool.
Holy Goat have constant demand from suppliers for their organic cheese. But after 4 unusually dry seasons, there's no more green feed, and they're struggling to maintain their milk supply.
There's a serious drought in southeast Australia. There's been no spring growth, and so there's been a complete collapse in the organic grain industry. It's an incredible blowout in our feed bill. The predicament is you either sell stock or you feed them. So there is a mad scramble for the available feed.
We're wild harvesting for summer and autumn, a couple of days a week, because we have no hay. There's no hay to buy. And we'll be doing this all summer and probably all autumn.
At the moment, we're managing to pay our wages, pay all our mortgages, and pay for the feed. As long as we can keep producing our cheese, we can make a return to pay for those bills. In January, our cheese prices will rise because we'll get to a point where we can't afford to cover those costs.
So on the buck side,
Yep.
Anna, Antonia and Marika are all granddaughters of Carla via Lonica. I would go Carlos because the egg factor wasn't good. So
Carla and Ann Marie
the
started with
Carlos
20
factor
goats
is bringing
and have
back
built
to
up the herd through selective breeding.
5 here.
They keep a detailed family tree of all the goats and their offspring.
They just go into power pole paddy. We've got 2 bucks, Carlos and Apache. Carlos, the Italian stallion, nice straight back, big broad chest. And then Apache is a British Alpine, and he brings longevity of milk and the dark colour into the skin of the goats, so they're less prone to skin cancer.
Darling, get a go. Yeah, good. Go, Anne-Marie.
Based on their recent matings, Carla and Ann Marie choose the buck that will best improve the milk production or bone structure of the next generation. But if Carlos mates one of Apache's does,
Come on then,
all
big
of
boy.
their planning is in vain.
Go on then. Oh, she's off. Shit. No, 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 no. No. Come on, Carlos. Quick. Let's come on, Carlos. Come in this way. Come on.
Okay. Don't lose the mating list.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
I need to mark it in the book. I just mark it in the diary
Write it
too.
all in the diary.
So
Yeah.
I do all the paddock changes
Put
too
it
now.
in your pocket then?
The bucks have their own does in separate paddocks, but as soon as they're left to their own devices, the bucks aren't quite so scientific about mating. Apache prefers the look of the girls on Carlos's side of the fence.
All the goats ended up in this paddock, in the power pole paddock, and both bucks.
Okay. And what were the bucks doing to each other?
Oh, the bucks were just... What do you reckon the bucks were doing?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what these two bucks were doing.
They were fighting,
They were
Carla.
fighting.
They would be fighting.
Okay, they were fighting.
And so I just thought I'd get Apache out and his girls.
Yeah.
Lucky I had the list in my pocket.
Yeah. That's good, that wasn't it?
I would have gone, who was with Apache?
Yeah.
We have got too many kangaroos on our property. The kangaroos are too hard on all of the small plant species, the little flowers and shrubs. They're knocking them around too much. And they're competing now for feed with the goats.
With little nourishment in the paddocks, the goats are breaking through the fences looking for extra feed.
Hey, Brett. I'll walk them up to that paddock and lock them in. Come on, Goaty. I rang up the Department of Natural Resources and Environment, and they said on a, 200, just over 200 acre property, how many kangaroos do you think should be here? And they said, about 20. And I knew that we had over 100 at that point.
Yeah, out here. See him? Big one.
I've had nothing to do with killing kangaroos before, and so I spoke to Brett and George about what I think would be the most humane way to do it, and I thought it would be best to kill all the bucks. And they said, well, that can really create, get out of here, go, get out. Quite an upset in the group. Not that shooting doesn't.
As long as they kill the Joey and Marie, what we're killing we're doing a cull. And in this case, we know for sure they're going and they're not leaving any Joeys.
No, that's right, to die
that's the
later on.
thing. Yeah, you've got to make sure. I mean, there's something wrong with all of this because it all should be valuable and precious, but it's not even legal to eat the meat, so it's funny values.
We've got 13 so far, just where that stand of trees is.
It's not just about the kangaroos, it's about the grasses, the remnant bush, our choice to not have too many goats. So we've intervened and we can't let anything get to a point of not being sustainable.
The does that were mated 5 months ago have started to give birth.
This is Buddy's third kidding. But the last kidding she had, she only got one of them licked the sack off one of them, and she left the other one. So she gets fairly tired. So we have to monitor her to make sure that we can clear the mucus from the mouth.
Fun, isn't it, having Anne Marie in your bedroom?
Anne Marie is expecting the birth overnight and is sleeping in the shed to keep a close eye on the mother-to-be.
It's very cosy. Oh, how about me? Am I going to be warm enough? Oh, well, I'll leave you with your torch. Sweet dreams. Yeah, you too. Yeah. I actually don't think she's going to kid tonight. My dear. What do you think, Bud? How about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning?
Oh, that's a beautiful little kid. Oh, it's breathing. Hey, careful with her. Yeah, she's just there. Yeah.
We create a triangular relationship between the mother, the kid and ourselves. When the doe kids, we hand milk her a bit because she makes too much milk for her kids, so we have to hand milk a little bit. So she relates to us a little bit like we're one of the kids. So she kisses you and she calls you, and when you milk her, she nuzzles you in the ear. And then at 2 to 3 weeks, we do the deed in a way. We take the kids off the mum and they start working for you, so you're after the milk.
Come on. Right on. She's got to do her customary wee.
She's got high volume milk, really high quality milk, lovely sweet milk, and that's when she starts earning her keep, basically.
Yeah. You wait in here. Come on, girl. You know, this is where the word kidnapping comes from. Here you go, dolls. There's a new little place for you. She's going to take on the whole dairy herd. Yeah, this is right. She's got to bash everyone up today.
For the mother goat, it's traumatic. She wants her kids and she's looking for them and calling out for them. And she likes it when we spend time with her because she still sees us as part of the family.
Yeah, what's happened, Dave? They're not there. No? They're not there. You know where they're meant to be, don't you?
We have to make sure the kids are far enough away from the mothers that they can't hear each other. Otherwise they start calling out and it's on. They'll try to get together.
Muse is determined to be reunited with her kids, and from the top of the paddock she can hear them calling.
We'll look after them, darling. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's all right.
It doesn't matter what other people think about it being awful. This is the best scenario for everybody in a dairy. You want animals that focus on you to meet their needs, not on their mother to meet their needs.
Come on, Muse. Good girl. Good girl. Come on. Come on.
Because of the scarcity of organic feed, the costs are going up. We just have to get organic feed from wherever we can.
To run the dairy and the cheese factory, we're buying water in, and it's $250 a load. We probably use about 600 litres a day, and that's been quite frugal.
This is molasses, so it's sugar, and I'm mixing it with some of the whey from a leftover from the cheese. So I'm making a mixture of sugar and protein and seeing what they think of it. And we'll see if anyone gets diarrhoea or if the milk goes up or what happens. And if it works, we'll start doing this as drought food. It's a hit with Aretha. And, oh yeah, look at Twist go. My God, Boysen wants some. She will bite a goat's ear for it.
We've managed to get some hay from a bloke in South Australia at Waikerie. It's about 7 hours drive away. It'll be probably same cost to cart it as to buy the hay, but it's going to be worth it because there's not much hay around this year, so we're buying anything we can. To a small farm like ours, getting this small amount of hay, it can actually pull you through. So how have you been? All right. Yeah? Oh, they're bloody heavy. They are a bit. We haven't used a small bale for 2 years. No small bale.
See, a lot of lucerne at the moment in big squares is $400 a tonne.
Yeah.
In little squares, they can nearly get $800 a tonne.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's why they're doing it. Otherwise, they wouldn't even consider it normally.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on.
Oh.
Okay then.
Thanks a lot,
Better
mate.
move.
Just seemed to say young.
Okay, see ya.
Ta-ta then, thanks. Given the drought and the money that's gone out on the feed, we are not, we're not breaking even. We are not breaking even, and we're a long way from it. And even though we've had a price increase, I just sort of think you can only do this, you could only farm like this for a couple of years and then it's impossible because you got no more money.
Because of the high feed costs, Carla is hand milking the older does to check they're paying their way.
700. 700 for Nola.
The goats that produce the least milk may have to be put down. Audrey is a goat farmer from the French Alps and has been working with the milking herd all summer. This is her first experience of an Australian drought.
But Audrey, maybe this year at autumn, when the milk goes down a lot, there are some goats we won't keep in the winter. So. Oh. Yeah? Okay. She kidded 3 years ago, and that is 1 litre of milk at night. That's good. She stays. Hard decisions slowly.
You ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Oh, right up. Jeez. There you go, honey bunny.
Yeah, it's all right.
With too many mouths to feed, Carla and Ann Marie have to decide if they can afford to keep the poor milkers and the injured does.
That's it, sweetheart. Blueberry with a blue leg.
When the butcher comes, and he's coming Friday, there's a couple of decisions that we had to make. Blueberry and Eartha were the two that we thought if we don't think they're up to it, we'd have to cull them now.
No, I think you've got to give them both a go.
What about her foot?
Who, Blueberry? Well, I think it's progressing.
Yeah, I know, but it was meant to be fixed.
I know you're talking about it, but I actually don't believe you could take it to the butcher on Friday. There are goats, however, on the dairy line that I think we do have to consider it. Because they're not productive now and they're going to be dry all winter and we haven't got any food. And they're not goats we put back in kid.
No, I know that. I've been even thinking of Trudy.
Me too.
They decide to keep the whole milking herd and the injured does. They have no alternative but to kill the young bucks. Instead of sending them off to an abattoir, they decide to slaughter them on the farm, where they can keep the young bucks calm.
Ray Charles, there was going to be a buck, but because we bought a buck, we thought we shouldn't keep him as a buck. This is Hawthorne. He's still got his balls. We were thinking about having him as a buck too. The season's so bad and we just not keeping as many animals.
Audrey just asked that the little boys don't get killed today.
No, she doesn't want it to happen. Well,
we're not. Carla, they're going today. Yeah. There's no extra food. I know they're too young, but... Audrey, you should go back to the house and maybe just put the soup on and think about some lunch and not be here.
all right.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay?
How's it going out there?
Good. How are they?
They're great. They're good. Very good.
They calm?
They're completely calm.
That's amazing, cicadas now at this time. They're probably happy it's not so hot. Having a little song. Sometimes we just want to get away from it all. We spend the night here to have a little holiday on the farm. There's no phone, there's no contact, and if we go just around dusk, the phascogales come out. And they're these little marsupial creatures that have bottle brush tails.
How sweet is that? Yeah, look at it, look, it's looking. Look at it. See it? Yeah, yeah. Good stuff, look at it. Yeah.
Finally, in late autumn, the rain arrives. The paddocks are drenched for the first time in 4 years.
Hello, is it Tosca?
Yes, Tosca.
Hi, Tosca. He's coming to see what's happening. Hey, you want to get up? Come on in. We can only do this together. There's no possibility. We would never do this on our own. We'd never be brave enough or want to. It's only because it's Carla and Ann Marie together, and how good it is for us to be together that we can take on something like this.
We'll put her out, right out, and then I'll come back.
To have our own organic farm with all the risks that are involved is a question of being courageous enough to actually not just talk about your passion, but go, all right, we'll do it.
Madeline's entire education has taken place on the family's organic farm.
When I was 8, I got 5 hens and started my own egg business.
Now she's 12 and has to decide between farm life or a high school education.